One of the surprise movie hits of the summer in the US has been Sound of Freedom, which has outstripped some big blockbusters at the box office and is now set to arrive in the UK.
Well, Sound of Freedom has been enjoying what can be described as a miraculous run at the American box office.
The movie Sound of Freedom remains the summer surprise hit, passing $160 million at the box office.
Sound of Freedom is smashing it at the box office.
On the day of its debut, Sound of Freedom reached #1, beating out Disney's fifth Indiana Jones film. The independent film has now grossed a whopping $100 million.
Jim Caviezel thriller Sound of Freedom knocks Insidious from the #1 spot Monday. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Sound of Freedom was #1.
September 2023, Sound of Freedom, one of the most successful independent films of all time, finally sees its release here in the UK. The film, based on the true story of Tim Ballard, a former US government agent who embarks on a mission to rescue children from traffickers in Colombia. A worldwide problem, it's often ignored and brushed under the carpet, and the film seeks to address that and raise awareness of this horrific situation. The history of the film is interesting. Originally, the filmmakers had a deal with Fox Latin America. It was completed in 2018. However, Disney bought Fox and surprisingly were unwilling to release the project. After much failed negotiations, the filmmakers took the rights back and set about trying to get the film released on major streaming platforms. Both Netflix and Amazon said the same thing. They were not interested. Why is this? Ask yourself why a film highlighting such an important topic was passed by. The filmmakers approached Angel Studios, a faith-based platform, in their last-ditch attempt to get it released.
I'm praying for God to send an angel to rescue this film. And I got a phone call from Angel Studios. Hey, we're very interested in your movie. Do you have any other options? No, you're my only option. Okay, well, let's close the deal. 5 days later, we signed a contract, and okay, this is 3.5 months ago. And then, okay, when are we coming out? July 4th. What? Brother, we don't have like money for publicity or marketing. The biggest films in the world are going to come out July 4th, week before and week after. Mission Impossible, Indiana Jones, competing with the biggest company in the world. They have hundreds of millions of dollars. Are you kidding? Eduardo, it's very important July 4th because it's Independence Day, freedom. We need to shake the conscience of America because yes, let's celebrate freedom in one hand, but let's do something else so we can bring freedom back to those children that are not free, brother. Let's do something. We never thought that July 4th, Sound of Freedom was #1 movie in America. This is a miracle. All glory to God.
Angel used equity crowdfunding to raise funds needed to distribute and market the film. 7,000 people invested, allowing Angel to meet its $5 million goal in 2 weeks, and they encouraged patrons to pay it forward to allow people who may not otherwise see the film watch it for free. The film, which many thought would never see the light of day, finally had an audience, and the reaction was amazing. In fact, at one point it had over 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Some movie analysts have attributed the success in part to its appeal to an overlooked segment of the audience. One noted that they were breaking the rules and coming out as a winner. The National Post argued the film was an example of an independent studio beating Hollywood at its own game. The film has been endorsed publicly by Mel Gibson, Dana White, Elon Musk, Ben Shapiro, and many, many more.
Sound of Freedom has a message filled with hope and inspiration. The film sparks conversations and encourages people to help end trafficking in their own community. Go see it.
However, mainstream media has largely derided the film. The Los Angeles Times noted the film had become part of culture war, stating supporting the film has become a cause for the MAGA crowd. Many cited the film as embellishing the reality of child exploitation and stoking QAnon theories. This was disputed by the film's director, who told Variety the movie's origins came from a network TV segment which he saw years before the movement emerged. So why has the legacy media been so vocal in criticising the film?
But bizarrely, it turns out the media and many people have come after this film. It's utterly shocking. If you see this film, and I implore your viewers and yourself, if you haven't, to go and see this film. It really is remarkable. Vox.com wrote an article criticizing the film, finishing by writing, "Sound of Freedom is ultimately a form of extremist propaganda, and that extremism is at least as dark and dangerous as the very thing Sound of Freedom wants to combat." So the film, which wants to combat sex trafficking of the millions of children, is more dangerous than sex trafficking of the millions of children.
Maybe it's because the film bypasses the standard studio model and relies on a crowdfunding model rather than traditional Hollywood routes. Or maybe it's because the topic is just too close to home. Maybe it's a combination of both. What do you think? Let me know in the comments if you've seen the film, why you think it was originally ignored, and why on its release did it get so much negativity from the press.
I go watch the movie. And the day before on the podcast, we were discussing it, and there were headlines, Rolling Stone, certain magazines, articles, like disparaging the movie and basically marginalizing the whole concept of the movie.
For sure.
So I go into the movie
Unbelievable.
already knowing, all right, what they called it a QAnon conspiracy theory. So I'm thinking, all right, let's look for these clues. So I sit through the 2.5 hour movie and I'm thinking, all right, like, when's the QAnon thing coming? When's the right-wing conspiracy thing coming? And it was just generally a movie about freaking child sex trafficking. Period, end of story. And the fact that it's politicized and there's people being like, no, it's kind of okay, is like so shocking to me.
My take on the film: it's an important piece of work. The musical score is excellent and the actors, all the actors, even the youngsters, do a great job. I'd rather watch films like this rather than the superhero garbage and Hollywood claptrap we're normally given. I think it's particularly amusing that Disney's latest Indiana Jones was beaten in the ratings by this small but incredibly well made film. So if you've yet to see it, and I recommend going to a cinema to really enjoy it, you definitely should go. If you've enjoyed this, please give it a like and consider subscribing. I'll be posting some more film stuff and content that I hope you'll really enjoy. And don't forget the line in the film:
God's children are not for sale.